Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Today, we are reviewing In a Memory of Light, the last book to the Wheel of Time. Have I read A New Spring yet? No. Do I plan on reading A New Spring? No. I was like, nah, I can't. After I was done with the Wheel of Time, I'm like, we're done. But also, I'm like, did you truly finish the Wheel of Time? Because you did not read A New Spring. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I decide to read it or not. I'm like, we are done. I'm very happy that I can finally say I finished the series. I'm going to go into deeper talk about the series in general in January. I have like a whole movie set up for this. I have a whole video idea of what I want to do, talking about the Wheel of Time. I want to talk about, is it truly worth 14 books? Is it like worth reading it? Is the journey really worth it? And I just want to talk about it. So we're going to do that whenever that happens, sometime in January. So on my laptop, I have like notes of just things that are going on, and that's how I'm going to kind of talk about it. That's about it. It's basically, I'm just summarizing it and then give you guys my thoughts of this book. So let's start off. All right, so this book starts off where the Ashaman are at the Black Tower. I don't know why I'm thinking Dark Tower, but the Black Tower, and they are turning to the dark side with the Dark Lord. From Timan, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I am so bad with these names. All right, so I gotta say this now. By the time in like a week, I'm probably gonna forget like almost all these characters' names, which is gonna suck because there's a lot. Hear me out. I'm going to try, I probably will mispronounce a lot of these names, so hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, the Ashman are turning to the dark side, essentially, in the Black Tower. There's a lot of them that are fighting, like trying to fight it, and Logain is there captured. And I don't know why in my notes I didn't write down the names, but there is a Ashman and Aes Sedai, and they bond together, and their bond is so good that they can like read each other's minds by linking. And I'm like, why is this now in the 14th book? That's besides the point. They learn that Logain needs help. So Logain is like the leader for the light, for the Ashaman, and he's like fighting to not be taken over by the dark side. They keep calling it the dark side, that's what it is essentially. Grendel shows up and tells Timan, he's like, yo, why is this taking so long? He's like, don't worry about it. I stole the seals of the prison. We're good. And that's kind of how it goes with Logain's POV. Now, Perrin is entering the world of dreams, which is really cool, to kill Slayer, which is awesome. And he's going to manipulate the gateway so they can't like escape, but like they can get there through the gateway. And that's what he does. And when him and Androl, I think that's how you pronounce his name, get there, they bring like a whole army, and everyone's fighting like right off the rip, which is kind of dope. And when they're fighting, Androl like manipulates the gates to go the other way. So when the bad Ashaman like shoot balefire, it goes to the gateway and reverses back and smokes them and just offs them, so they kind of just like unalive themselves, which was kind of like cool of how that trick worked. I will say there's a lot of fighting in this one, which I hope so, but it still takes forever to get to point A to a point B in this book. But I will say, before I go into more of my summarizing, this book does a really good job at just finally just sealing the end of closing off so many things in this book that you're like, oh. So with this book, like I said, when Perrin is in the dream world, it's called the Dream Spike, if I can remember off the top of my head. And that is what is controlling with the gateway. Perrin does end up killing Slayer, which is sick. And he kills Landfear by just snapping her neck, which was also cool. And I just did not expect that at all. I think Perrin is still a dog. I just think Perrin has probably been screwed the most of everybody in this series. And it's just one of the main characters. As one of the like 3 dudes that were, you know, the chosen ones essentially, he kind of got shafted. We're going to talk about Rand's POV. Rand assembles all the nations. He essentially has like the Avengers. He is making the Avengers. And he has 3 conditions in this, which is actually cool. And he said, like, if this happens, if you guys do not sign these treaties, and you don't agree to my agreements, I'm out. Screw the world then. We're going to let it burn. I was kind of like, I truly didn't believe Rand, obviously. I was like, Rand's not gonna do that. He's the Dragon Reborn, he's gonna do it. But I like the idea of him doing that just to like scare them. I thought that was a really cool move. One of them is called the Dragon Peace, where nobody's allowed to fight one another for 100 years. Thought that was cool. The second one is about him controlling the armies. And of course, Egwene fought with him. I have so much issues with Egwene And I think a lot, and I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it, like every single person just does not like Egwene. No matter what he does with her, nobody likes Egwene. And it's like, it's so clear why nobody likes Egwene. Like I can really see why nobody likes her. She fails upwards, which is just lovely, and she has to fight with every single person because she herself has so much insecurities that she just projects it on every single soul. It's so annoying. When I do my my actual discussion of the Wheel of Time, don't worry, I'll be talking all about this. I think it was a second condition that he is the one to break the seals, which kind of makes sense. And of course, like I said, people are fighting, arguing with him, and then Moraine shows up, which everyone's like, ooh, crap, because everyone forgets that Moraine actually is alive again. Matt saved her, and she tells everyone, he's a Dragonborn, he's right, shut up, he's gonna do it. And well, everyone's like, all right. And then Matt and Rand go to Matt's wife to convince her to fight for the light. Now she does, but she has like a lot of disagreements with Egwene because Egwene's really unbearable, but the two of them just don't get along. Whatever. The one thing I didn't like about this is the Shan-Chan didn't like agree to like, they still have like the Aes Sedai still be slaves, and I was like, oh man, you just can't win. But I'm also like, yeah, it sucks, but I like how it just feels like, oh well, it's not like a happy ending for everybody, even after this whole thing is over. So I kind of understood that idea of it, but I'm like, man, they just can't win. I will say also that I like Avienda's movement in this, where Avienda brings up that basically any nation that goes against what this contract, like what they're signing, this treaty they're signing, Avienda's like, yo, I am going to have all the Aiel attack that nation that betrays anyone else. So she's kind of like saying like, we are the police of this, we are enforcing this, and I kind of like that. I think Avienda as a character, I didn't like her too much, but she really has grown a lot, especially I would say the last like 4 books. That I think Avienda has definitely gotten a lot better compared to a lot of the other characters. I was like, man, Avienda, she's kind of dope. So the last battle, I feel like this is gonna be a shorter video than most of the other ones because like I said, I'm just summarizing it because there's just a lot I want to talk about in like the big Wheel of Time video I want to do. So with this one, like I said, there's just a lot of fighting, and I'm just skimming through what the stuff is going on. The last battle is just a lot. There's a lot of things that happen in it, and there's a lot of cool character moments. There's a lot of characters' deaths, which I didn't expect. Like, Galad loses his arm, which is wild. Egwene dies, which is even more wild. And all right, you guys can judge me, but I was like, yes. I was actually like kind of happy to see like Egwene die because she was so unbearable. Like, I don't know, I felt like when Egwene died, I didn't really feel anything besides kind of like, all right, whatever. Because I just felt like as a character, she just wasn't like that kind of character I could just get behind. Maybe that's just me, but I just could never get behind her. And then Oliver and Fael are getting the horn to give to Matt. They couldn't because, well, they had to go into the dream world, I think it's called. Why am I thinking of like Nightmare on Elm Street? Anyways, they have to go through the blight. Fael makes like a sacrifice and makes Oliver go. What happens is she sacrifices herself, and then Oliver like struggles with trying to like escape, and he blows the horn because Matt died before to allow the horn to be chosen by someone else, which is fine. Whatever. Oliver summons the army and they just start slaughtering fools. And that was pretty cool. And Lan ends up kills Demandred. I think that's how you pronounce him. Demandred. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So the guy like stabs Lan through the stomach, and Lan like cuts his head off. Kind of badass. Just saying, that was really badass. But that dude was like going through some people. He like sliced off Galad's arm, and then he kills Galad's brother. So I was like, dang, bro, this guy is like malicious. And I didn't expect so many characters that actually die in this. So that was also kind of crazy. And then we get to Rand. And Rand and the Dark Lord like leave the pattern to have like a in-depth conversation. And when I was thinking about this, I'm like, this is so weird. But I'm like, reading this sounds kind of normal. But like, if I was explaining this to people, they would be like, what in God's name are you talking about? And they like talk, and the Dark Lord is like, if you do, like, he's giving them like, telling them options. He's like showing him what would happen if the Dark Lord became ruler. And then he almost gave Rand the option, like Rand almost took this option where they both just die and they cease to exist, which I was like, and Rand almost did that. But of course Rand didn't, and Rand ends up defeating him. What happens is Rand ends up dying, and they have a funeral. And in the funeral, the 3 wives of Rand, none of them are sad. They don't show any emotion. because I know Ran is somewhere else because he swapped minds with Morgang. And what happens is Rand is like smoking a pipe. He has no sores, no scars on him. He is just healthy. And that's how it ends. And that's the Wheel of Time. With A Memory of Light, I liked a lot of it. Lots of payoffs, and they were very satisfying. Egwene dies, which was awesome. I was really happy about that. A lot of characters' deaths, and I just feel bad about saying this, but I didn't feel as much as I thought I would about this, like how this ended. And I think it's because I was more like, oh my gosh, it's finally over, more than like, oh shucks, it's over. You know, I don't know. I always struggled with the Wheel of Time in general, and like I took so many long breaks from it, and I was like, this is the year I'm going to finish it. And like same thing with like Stormlight. I gave up on Rhythm of War, so I'm not going to be finishing that. I might try again next year to finish Rhythm of War in Wind of Truth. Who knows? I just wanted to finish the Wheel of Time. There's just so many things about the Wheel of Time that I'm just like, oh my gosh. And this one, yes, this is very satisfying. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I can rate this book. And it's not because I think it's bad, but I think it's such a good conclusion to end the series that I'm like, I don't think I can rate this, honestly. Like, if I did, it'd probably be around a 4. It's just weird giving it a rating, if that makes any sense. Maybe it doesn't. But to me, I chose to not rate this book on my Goodreads or anything. But in general, it's a good conclusion, but there's so much I would love to talk about when it comes to the Wheel of Time. So be prepared for January, because winter is coming and your boy has a lot to talk about. If you guys made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys let me know down below what you guys think about Wheel of Time in general. I'd love to know what you guys think about Wheel of Time. And what did you guys think about A Memory of Light? You guys think I'm heartless because I didn't really cry and I kind of just like read the book with like little to no emotions? Or do you guys think, or do you guys kind of agree? I would love your thoughts down below. And of course, last but not least, stay safe, stay humble, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird.